other side of Pennsylvania Avenue. The new post-Obama era of Democratic politics in Washington is starting to show us what it is, starting to show its face. And the skills Democrats needed when they had a friendly Democratic face in the White House, those are not going to be the same skills that Democrats need in the days ahead. We don't know what skills the Democrats are going to need in the days ahead. We don't know who the Democratic stars are going to be. We don't know who's going to be effective and who's not. But we're starting to see them do their best. And last night, in the middle of the night, after 1 a.m., Democrats got up on their hind legs and they put on a show of how they are going to fight against Republicans in Washington and what the incoming administration wants to do. Have you seen this tape from the middle of the night last night yet? I don't know how many people saw this today because of all the other stuff that happened over the course of the day, but what Democrats did in the middle of the night last night was freaking dramatic, and I want you to see it. This was the end of the vote-a-rama thing, right? They voted on 1 million different amendments and things all night long, way into the wee hours. But by the end of it, what they were voting on was basically the first procedural step that Republicans would need to get through. They need to pass this if they're going to repeal Obamacare. If they're going to take away this program that provides tens of millions of Americans with their health insurance. And at the moment they were taking this crucial vote, it was Republican Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado who had the gavel. He was presiding over the Senate while they're taking this vote. And I think what happened here procedurally is that all the Republicans had voted yes on this repeal Obamacare thing. The Republicans, I think, just went to their desks and pushed the button to indicate I'm voting yes. And so Cory Gardner, you'll see him here, he reads all of those names of all those Republican senators to indicate that they were all yes votes. Again, in a vote to take the first step toward repealing Obamacare. He gets to the end of that list and he reads the name of the one Republican who voted no. That's interesting. And a reminder of how tight the margins are right now in the Senate. You only need to peel off one or two Republicans on anything in order to make it go the Democrats' way. So it's very interesting. Rand Paul voted with the Democrats on this. He voted no on the Obamacare repeal thing. So he notes that Rand Paul voted no. And then he gets to the Democratic names, and then watch what the Democrats do.
Mr. Sass, aye. Mr. Gardner, aye. Mr. Paul voted in the negative. Mr. Schumer.
On behalf of tens of millions of Americans who will
debate
have their costs go up, whether they're in the exchange or not, if ACA is repealed,
the Democratic leader is not in order.
I vote no.
Mr. Schumer.
Debate is not in order during a vote.
No.
Debate is not in order during a vote. Gentleman from Illinois.
I recorded. On behalf of the downstate hospitals of Illinois, I vote
Debate is
no.
not in order during a vote.
Mr. Durbin? No. Mrs. Murray?
Debate is not in order during a vote.
How am I recorded? On behalf of elderly people who cannot afford higher prescription drugs, I vote no.
Mr. Sanders? No. Mrs. McCaskill?
Because there is no replace.
Debate
I vote no.
Allowed during
Mrs.
debate. The
McCaskill?
vote.
Ms. Klobuchar?
The senator is not recorded.
Because there is no plan in the alternative, I vote no.
Madam Clerk,
Mr. Murphy?
am I recorded?
The senator is not recorded.
This is cruel and
The
inhuman.
Senate will be in order. Debate is not allowed during a vote.
Madam Clerk,
Mr. Franken?
how am I recorded?
The senator is not recorded.
I vote no on behalf of the more than
Debate is not allowed
2.3
during the vote.
million
Debate is
Minnesotans
not allowed
who
during the
can
vote.
no
Senate
longer
will be in
be
order.
discriminated
Senate will be in
against
order, and the clerk will continue the roll.
because of the ACA.
The Senate will be in order.
Mr. Franken? No.
Mr. President,
Ms. Heitkamp?
how am I recorded?
Senator is not recorded.
On behalf of the thousands of
Senator will
people who
suspend.
receive health care in my state and
Order.
rural
Debate
hospitals
is not allowed.
who know not how they're going to get
Senator will
health care
suspend.
if this
Clerk will continue
passes
the roll vote.
without a replacement,
Senator
I vote
will
no.
suspend.
Madam Clerk,
Ms.
how am I
Duckworth?
recorded?
The senator is not recorded.
On behalf of the 1.2 million
Debate is not allowed
Illinoisans who
during
will
a vote. The
lose
Senate will be in order.
health insurance with this
Debate
repeal of
is
the
not
ACA.
allowed. The Senate will be in
And
order.
for all those with pre-existing
The Senate will be in
conditions,
order.
I stand on
Debate is not allowed
prosthetic
during a
legs
vote.
to vote no.
Senate will be in order.
Clerk, am I recorded? Ms. Cantwell. This is not
Debate is
business
not allowed
as
during a
usual. You are
Debate-
stealing
the Senate will
health
be in
care
order.
from
Debate-
Americans. I
The
vote
Senate will
no.
be in order.
Ms. Cantwell, no.
Madam Clerk,
Mr. Kane,
when I was sick, you visited me.
Debate
I
is
vote
not
no.
allowed during a vote. The Senate will be in order.
Mr. Kane, no.
All of these Democratic senators, this is the middle of the night. This is after 1 a.m. All of these Democratic senators, all of them, except for Dianne Feinstein, who had just had a freaking pacemaker put in, and she was getting ready to come back to work after surgery the very next morning. All of them shouting over the gavel, voting no, saying why they are voting no. Senator Tim Kaine there at the end citing scripture, citing the Gospel of Matthew. When you were sick, you visited me. You heard Senator Bernie Sanders there. He said, on behalf of elderly people who cannot afford prescription drugs, I vote no. Senator Sanders this weekend will lead a rally to try to save Obamacare. He's going to do it in Michigan, which is